I'd like to welcome you to the Blount County Commission Agenda Committee meeting. Before we get started, we'll read the emergency evacuation procedures.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you've reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
At this time, Commissioners, please register your presence. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll?
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 members present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This time we will move to first item on the Agenda Committee, and that is the election of the Agenda Committee Chairperson. This time I will stand for motions for Chairman. It's part of our local rules and regulations. We need to elect a chairperson. Commissioner Carver.
I'd like to recommend for Todd Stinnett.
I have a motion for Commissioner Stinnett. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Kaler. Are there any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Commissioner Hammonds-Reed.
I move that nomination cease to elect Commissioner Stinnett by acclamation.
Nomination, it's been moved and nomination ceased. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner McCulley. If you're in favor of nomination ceasing, please register your vote.
Oh,
I'll do it by voice.
yeah, acclamation
All right. We have to vote
on
that.
your cease.
Yeah. We can take a voice vote on that. All those in favor of seizing nominations signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. All right, the motion that Mr. Commissioner Stinnett be elected by acclamation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. They can vote electronically on this.
Okay. Sorry, we need to vote electronic on that. Please register your vote. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, there are 19 yes votes and 1 member has abstained.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Madam Clerk. Mr. Stinnett, congratulations, and please step up and take your position. You might bring your name tag with you.
I need to go to the bathroom.
Ask for a 5-minute recess.
Okay. Same over there too. If you'll give us just a few minutes. Okay, now you need to sign in here. Okay, good deal. All right. Will you press your microphone to speak so I can not pick up that one? It's not showing up on there, pressing the microphone to speak.
What's that capital?
Okay. All right, we got it.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay. So, oops, one mouse. So you hit, let me go up here. Your microphone needs to be on. It's still not working. Okay, see, his is coming in. Okay.
These,
We need to get over it.
Okay. Yeah, but the first thing you need to do, you're gonna have to come
I think
up
it's reprogrammed.
the committee chairperson.
Okay, that's right.
So here,
We gotta get over.
here's your script.
Oh, you've already got it for me.
Yeah. So items, you've got to do
Okay,
your,
I got you.
and then here's your new
Okay,
agenda.
I got it right here.
Okay, does that have the budget
Yeah.
stuff on it? Okay.
I think that should.
And then here's all our committees, and that will have to be. We'll just motor through.
Okay. Okay. I think our first thing of business is we need to elect a
It's up here too.
vice chairperson. Nominations?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Thank you,
Hammond.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I nominate Brian Robbins.
Brian Robbins. Declined. Brad? Chairman?
If you,
Second that nomination, Mr. Chairman.
Who did we nominate? I didn't.
Dodd
hear.
Crow,
Commissioner.
Commissioner Crow, and it's been second by Mr. French. Any, anyone else? Are we going to do this voice? Or are we going to do it?
You gotta cease your nominations first.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
Move to cease nominations.
thank you. That's where I was heading.
Second.
Second. I got a second. Mr. Carter?
You can do it by voice.
And we'll do this by voice. If everyone say yes?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, you're going to have to give me a little time here. Any no's? Okay, Mr. Dodd, I've got to run to the restroom, and you come right up here. You're in, buddy.
We've not voted on that yet. Now you gotta vote.
Oh,
on the
okay, we got to vote.
nomination For Dodd.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, we got the nomination done. I hadn't voted on it. Everyone voting, we need to vote for Mr. Dodd. If we're going to do this by voice too.
Electronically.
Okay,
You gotta
right
set
here.
it.
So what do I need to do? Is it up there now?
Yes, it is.
If you, yes vote for Mr. Dodd to be the vice chair of this committee and a no vote for not to elect him, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 20 yes votes and one member has abstained.
Now I will leave.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
move that we take a 5-minute recess.
Is everyone for that? Everyone needs 5 minutes, and that'd give us a little time to get organized here. I appreciate it. 5 minutes, please. Mr. Michaels. Chair, the chair would like to get this started, guys. You're going to have to be a little patient with us. These new devices are not working correctly. If you cannot hear us or you don't get my attention, just yell and we'll stop and try to navigate around the problems. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to set the agenda for tonight.
So So moved.
Mr. Carver,
Second.
and Mr. Hammondtree, second. Is there any discussions or changes to it? Okay, at this time, if you would like to set this agenda for tonight,
Wait just a minute.
just give me just a second, we're working on it. We will vote yes to set the agenda and no to back up.
Okay. Should go.
Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 yes votes.
Okay. At this time would be public input on items that are on the agenda. If you would like to speak to something, hold your hand up. Please come forward. Give us your name. Come forward. Your district and the item that you would like to speak to.
Tell him to wait till he gets to the podium.
Wait till you get to, come on up here and get closer to us so we can record this.
I don't know the rules here, so bear with me.
3
It's a new
minutes.
experience for me.
Right.
Ken Nauman, Tom Stennett is my person.
He needs to give us
I just want to
that in 1
continue.
minute.
I have 3 minutes.
Name, district.
Kenneth Nauman, 1711 Dock Hanna Road, Maryville, Tennessee. I live in the Carpenter Campground area. I've lived here since 2001. Now did my time start? Okay.
Yes.
Open gun range liability. I have just some questions to ask you, okay? Blount County is going to be the authorizing agent. Today, you have 70 acres and you have some rules. 70 acres, I contend, is not big enough. If 70 acres was a square, it would be 1,700 feet by 1,700 feet by 2,300 feet on a diagonal, okay? That's not big enough. These bullets go further than that. But as the authorizing agency, my question is, what would be the liabilities of Blount County assuming a case of personal injury or property damage lawsuit by permitting private, unregulated gun ranges? What would be the legal standing for Blount County to regulate commercial pay-for-play ranges and not private ranges? The third point, if private unregulated gun range owner has not insufficient insurance or cannot cover the costs of the liability lawsuit, who's going to pay? I was in a corporation, we had lawsuits. Trust me, they're going to come after the big pockets. How am I doing? The other potential effects on Blount County of this is, how does the county control business development and other zoning issues like businesses, subdivisions, schools, green spaces, without knowing where these gun ranges are? And you can build a gun range today. Nobody's stopping anybody from putting a berm up in their backyard today. It's whether it's the proper gun or not. And how would this regulation affect property values? Okay, if you have a gun range next to you. There is a solution to this, by the way. We could all form a committee and build a public gun range in a place where it's safe to do it, where the officers and everybody can shoot. That's another option here, beside doing it this way and opening ourselves up for this. Blount County had $378 million of revenue last year from tourism. Okay, I'm quoting these. $100 million in payroll, 3,500 people were employed, $13 million came in local taxes here. What happens if something happens to one of our tourists around here? Okay? Just questions, guys, just questions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else that wants to speak to the item on the agenda? Yes, sir. Back in the back, please come forward. State your name, your district, and the item that you'd like to speak to.
Name's Russell J. Lyles, and I live at 2518 Tuckaleechee Pike, District 4. And my front door is exactly 650 feet from the firing line of the VFW Post 13's gun range. And 650 feet is not enough. My house has been hit at least 3 times. And the gun range works perfectly but the people that use it don't always work perfectly. And if somebody shoots up, or shoots at the ground, or gives a gun to a young kid or a young woman that it's too big for them when they think it's funny, then it does get out. And so I don't know how many acres it takes, but if you're going to have gun ranges, you're going to have to make regulations for those gun ranges, and that includes the people that use them. So anyway, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else that would like to speak to a subject? Yes, sir. State your name, your district, or the people you're representing, and the item.
May it please the commission, again, my name's Kyle Baisley, here on behalf of owners with property within District 7. Just to clarify, what the resolution proposed does is it clarifies the definition of what an outdoor sport shooting range is. The way the current regulations read, a sport shooting range is defined so broadly that it picks up really, it's defined as an outdoor area not enclosed in a building, designed and operated for the use of rifles, shotguns, pistols, etc., or any other shooting activity, but doesn't include police or military ranges, and does not include occasional not-for-profit charitable events. So what it does include implicitly is a person's private property. And I don't disagree with the gentleman that spoke about a public range. That's a great idea. But I don't think that should also preempt a private property owner from going out and shooting in their backyard. They can do that as is, right? In Blount County, they're allowed to do that. Let's not have hurdles in the regulations that prohibit them from doing what they feel is necessary to push up a berm, to put in lanes, to put up flags, to let people know around, hey, I'm shooting. I put a berm up. I'm trying to keep rounds from escaping my property. I've clearly indicated where I'm going to be shooting. Those are all things we should be encouraging, not discouraging. And I don't think, the issues are, I think a public range would be great. I think a public range with RSOs, range safety officers present, that's a great idea. I don't think that really relates to what we're trying to accomplish here in this resolution. And I think it's important to once again reiterate, if someone is being reckless, any responsible gun owner, shooter, law enforcement, military, anybody would say that something needs to be done about that. Absolutely. You've got certain statutes that are already in place. You've got reckless endangerment. You've got trespass. Reckless endangerment, if rounds are hitting next to people or property, they should call Blount County Sheriff's Office. That's reckless endangerment. If rounds are hitting and maybe they're not damaging property and they're not damaging or potentially damaging people, that's called trespass. If it's unreasonably loud, that's called nuisance. This does nothing to strip those abilities. It's not making anything any less safe. If somebody wants to go shoot, they're going to go shoot. They can. They can legally do that if they're doing it safely. Let's let them do it even safer. Let's not put up barriers. Let's not make them have 70 acres in order to push up a berm, which right now, under the current regs, if they were to push up a berm and they're sitting on 69 acres, chances are they're in violation of this regulation, and we shouldn't put them in a position where they're having to make that decision. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else that would like to speak to an item on the agenda? Show no hands. Let's move on. Chair would like to ask for a motion to approve the minutes from the August 7th, 2018 agenda meeting. Okay, Mr. Bowers, Mr. Carter. Any discussion? Okay. Vote yes to approve the minutes, vote no to not to approve.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
The chair would like, thank you. The chair would also like to make a moment here just to remind everyone, guys, we're not voting on anything that's going to pass here today. We're voting to put it on the agenda for the committee to meet next week to pass these items. And I hope in the maybe in the near future, we can sort of change the name of this committee from agenda to maybe to a business or a work session, so we don't get confused with voting for things, because it's good to have another week. Sometimes we're going to vote on some things during this work session, this agenda meeting, and we'll change our mind before next week. So, Chair just wants to take a moment there to say that. As we move forward here, the Chair would like to ask for a motion for the consent calendar. Mr. French? And second was Mr. Hammondtree.
Let me flip flop them.
Okay, hold on
They
just a
got
second.
backwards.
That's what it says.
Not allowing them to speak. Commissioner French, can you push your motion button again? Got it.
Okay. And we have a motion and a second. Mr. Anderson, hold on just a second, sir. Let me. Commissioner, you've got a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to request that we vote on the election of notaries separately because I am on this list.
Okay. So we will separate that out and pull that out and vote on it in just a few. We do that. We'll do that second. Is that okay, Clerk? Okay. Does everyone understand? The notary is going to be pulled out and we'll revote for that just here in 1 second. So, for the consent calendar, minus the notaries, vote yes to move it to the commission and no not to.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes. Let me add this item.
As she's finishing up, we will now, I need a motion. Got it. Mr. French makes a motion to move it to the full commission, and Mr. Carver seconds. And if any discussion? Okay, vote yes to move this to the commission, and no not to.
Mr. Chairman, there are 20 yes votes and 1 member has abstained.
That will be moved to the commission for next week. Item E is unfinished business. We have none. The new business, budget transfers. The chair asks for a motion to move forward to the commission, Resolution 18-09001, Juvenile Court, $14,133.81 funding for unplanned retirement, payroll, and 2 weeks training overlap. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Mr. Carver and Mr. Anderson. Do we have discussion? Has anyone got any questions about this item? If you want to move this on to the commission, vote yes. And if you do not, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
Chair asks for a motion to move forward to the commission, Resolution 18-09002, $10,000 ready to read to Readiness Coaching Network Grant. I need a motion to move forward to the commission.
So moved, Mr. Chair. Second.
Mr. Kaler,
Members
Mr. Carver,
push their buttons, please.
please, yeah, make sure you touch your buttons there where
Touch your buttons.
it's not happening, is it? Yes. Do we have any discussion? We've got a motion and a second. Seeing no lights, please vote yes to move this to the commission, and no to withdraw it from the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
We will move that to the agenda for next week. The chair asks for a motion to move forward to the commission, Resolution 1809003, GPSF $289,502.46 school safety grant. I need a motion.
Second.
Mr. Hammondtree and Mr. Carver. Do we have any discussion about this resolution?
Yes, sir.
Push your button right.
He did. He
Okay,
did.
okay, let me,
We got it.
I'm getting some help. Thank you, sir. Mr. Hammondtree.
I move that items 2A through H be passed under one vote.
We need to finish this C first before we do anything to that, okay? Okay. We're working on C, Resolution 1809003. Any more discussion about? Please vote yes to move this to the commission. Vote no to delete it.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
Okay. Mr. Hammondtree, talk to me about your request.
Chairman, I move that items 2D through H be included under one motion and voted on.
Is there any objection? Yes, go ahead.
Item 1.
Yes, it's one,
Item E1, not 2. Item E1, D through A. Or D through F.
no, I think it's item 2. He's saying item 2, D, E, F, G, and H. Do you have the new one?
I'm sorry, I wasn't in, but
Does anyone object to combining these resolutions?
Point of order, Mr.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I keep on forgetting.
Okay.
Mr. Anderson. Commissioner Anderson.
Mr. Chairman, as a point of order, are we going to be voting on all these together if we approve them together at the commission meeting next week?
No, that we will not.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else anyone else? Yes, sir. Wait a minute, Mr. Dodd, I'm sorry. I'm not doing my job. There you go, sir.
I heard the motion, but I didn't hear you get a second, did you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I have a second to combine these? Mr. French has seconded this motion to combine budget transfer item 1, D, E, F, G, and H. Sorry, guys. No one objecting to this? I'm going to ask you to vote yes to move all these items. Resolution 1809004, 1809005, 006, 008, 009 to the full commission next week. Please vote yes to move them, no not to.
Commissioner Hill, do you wish to vote?
I think I did.
Touch it one more time.
There you go. Got it. Mr. Chairman, there are 20 yes votes and 1 no vote.
Moving on to other budget items, if you'll look at 3A, the chair asks for a motion to move forward to the commission, a grant application, register of deeds for $5,000 to Tennessee State Library and Archives grant for scanning and binding old books together. There is no matching funds. I need a motion to move this to the commission.
So moved. Second.
Got Carver, and I'm not for sure about the second. It was
Anderson.
Mr. Aker, Commissioner Aker. Is there any discussion? It's still. Okay, so it's good. It's not going to move. Okay. No discussion? Vote yes to move this to the full commission. Vote no to delete it. Oh, there we go.
Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
That moves to the commission. The chair asks for a motion to move forward to the commission. 3B, grant application, register of deeds, $2,525. I need a motion to move that to the commission. Mr. Hammondtree has made a motion to move it. I need a second.
Second.
Ms. Webb, Commissioner Webb, do we have any discussion? Please vote yes to move this to the commission. Vote no to delete it.
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 yes votes.
We move that to the full commission next week. The chair asks for a motion to move forward 3C, a grant application and circuit court clerk for $34,205 for courtroom safety. There is no matching funds and there's no recurring money. Please give me a motion to move to the agenda.
Clarify that.
Yes.
Is there no match? It says match.
Matching required. Commissioner Aker, we have to match it. We have to come up with $34,205. Well, wait, time out. Okay, time out.
Push your button.
Push your button.
That's 10, is that a 10% match?
Yes, sir, 10% match.
Thank you.
Okay. You okay? Anyone else? Any discussion on this?
We haven't had a motion.
Sir?
We haven't had a motion.
Oh, I thought, did we not get a motion? Not yet?
Second.
Okay.
Got Stacy and
Commissioner
Scott.
Lawhorn and Mr. King. Okay, any discussion? Sorry, I got ahead of myself there. We okay? Vote yes to move circuit court clerk grant for $34,205 for courtroom safety. Vote yes to move it to the commission. Vote no to delete it.
Commissioner Michaels, do you wish to vote? Mr. Chairman, there are 21 yes votes.
Thank you. That will be moved to the commission next week. Item 3D, the chairman would ask for a motion to move grant application BCSO for $23,409.95 for radios and let's see, what else was that? I'm sorry. The DOJ grant and associate costs, no match, and there is reoccurring money that has to go with that each year. I need a motion for that.
You got
Mr. Carver and Commissioner Reagan. Discussion. Being no discussion, please vote yes to move that to the commission and vote no to delete it.
Mr. Chairman, there are 20 yes votes, and I'm sorry I let it slide, somebody else didn't vote. Didn't catch that.
Who was it?
I don't know. Too late.
Okay.
Motion passed.
Motion passed. Now we go to item 4, appointments. Do we have any appointments?
They're on the agenda. These are the mayor appointments first. I don't think so. Yeah, they are. Right here.
So let me get rid of this.
Yeah.
Okay. The county mayor's appointments. The Animal Center Advisory Board, Ms. Hill,
We move item A, A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
okay.
For the full committee.
Thank you, sir. I've got a motion for the count, who's the second? Mr. King, a motion to combine the mayor's appointments, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 together. If there's no objection, we will combine those and vote at one time. Anyone?
Motion second.
Mr. Frank is the moved, and Mr. Bright, Commissioner Bright seconded. Thank you, sir. If there's no objection to this, vote yes to appoint these the county mayor's appointments.
So we got to vote on the motion to combine before we vote on the.
Oh, we do, I'm sorry. No, I took
You did all at once.
we did it all once. We did it, we're good. Yes, vote yes to move all these appointments to the commission. Vote no, not to.
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 yes votes.
Moving right along, okay. Section B, county commission appointments. It says agriculture extension, 1 vacancy, but it doesn't,
Like to appoint one.
I'm sorry?
Like to recommend Nick Bright for the agricultural extension committee.
Yeah, this is.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Commissioner Michaels. Okay. Yes, didn't realize what we was going to do. We're going to, this commission's going to nominate these. So Mr. Michaels has nominated Mr. Bright,
Second.
and we got a second.
Second by who? Okay.
Who's the second? Oh, Coley. Discussion. Any other names?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for getting Mr. Bright to be willing to accept.
Yes, he is. Guys, as we're going through these, if somebody nominates you and you're not interested in doing it, speak up, because we're going to nominate you. We got 60, how many positions? 67? 67 positions, so we're going to put your name in there unless you say no. Okay. If nominations cease, I need a second, or second?
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, there's only one.
This one. Thank you, sir. Vote yes for Mr. Bright to be on the Agriculture Extension Committee. Vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 20 yes votes and one member has abstained.
Item 2, Audit Committee. We have one vacancy. I need a nomination.
Mr. Chairman, nominate Mr. Jared Anderson.
Second.
Where is it?
Push the second.
Push your second button. Mr. Anderson, will you take that job?
I will, Mr. Chairman.
Great. Any other names? Any other nominations for the Audit Committee?
Nomination cease.
Okay. Vote yes for Mr. Anderson to be added to the Audit Committee, and vote no not to put him on that position. If you vote no, you're going to be on it.
Mr. Chairman, there are 20 yes votes and one has abstained.
Item 3, the Beer Board. We have 6 vacancies. Okay. Nominations, please.
Chairman,
Mr. French?
would you ask if there are any volunteers?
Push your button.
Hold on.
Is there any volunteers that
Yeah.
would like to serve before we go into nominating?
Yes, sir. Good.
Thank you.
Anyone that would be willing to serve on that board? Mr. Bennett? Ms. Reagan? Mr. McCauley? Ms. Lawhorn? Mr. Hood? You're on there. Michaels, they don't serve beer there now, they just talk.
That's why they have.
I've missed one. I
Okay,
think.
Bennett? Hood? Lawhorn?
Yes,
Michaels?
yes, and
And
Reagan.
McCauley.
McCauley. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Okay, we've got 6, thank you. Guys, we're voting on any other nominations. Somebody, we need to cease nomination.
4 votes 6 to
Okay, vote yes.
Need a second on that.
Need a second on that.
Second.
Robin,
Okay.
thank you, sir. We still voting?
Yeah, if you want
Okay.
to name them again.
Yeah, we're going to move Mr. Bennett, Commissioner Reagan, Commissioner Lawhorn, Hood, Michaels, and McCauley onto the Beer Board. Vote yes to do that, and vote no not to.
Mr. Chairman, you have 17 yes votes and 4 have abstained.
Thank you. Item 4, CARE, formerly the Correction Partnership, 4 vacancies. And I'm going to do the same thing there. If somebody is interested in volunteering for that committee, it's pretty important here in the next couple of years, guys. We need somebody on there that's interested in making sure that we make some correct decisions. Okay, Mr. Carver, Mr. Bennett's willing to do that?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Michaels.
thank you. Is this also, the people who do the jail inspections?
Help out. No, this committee, what this committee is for is to help us plan for what we're going to do in the future with our problems we got here in Blount County with our jail. So there'll be some, Mayor, would you like to explain a little bit the time it's going to take to be on that committee?
Well, I guess the one that could probably explain it even more is going to be Commissioner Carver, because he's been on it for the corrections partnership from the beginning. This is the CARES committee will more or less take over where the correction partnership, when it was disbanded, on the direction we're going as far as not just the overcrowding, but the overall issues we're dealing with the opiate crisis and drug addiction, and somewhat with some mental health issues. All of these are issues that this is going to be, that this committee will be dealing with, and hopefully coming back and giving us some direction and into what we're going to do as Blount County to correct this. The time, as far as time, Rick, what is this, once a month, twice a month?
We'll probably be seeing about, excuse me,
It's
probably be-
my fault.
a monthly, at least a quarterly, as the reports come back in, is
It's gone down.
what we requested of you.
At least once a month.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So we need 4, we got Mr. Carver,
Mr. Bennett.
Mr. Bennett, need 2 more volunteers. Ms. Hill, Commissioner Hill. I think that's probably might cause a problem. What do you think, Mr. Mayor? Or I got Mr. Garrett back there. He can probably help us on that. Okay. Thank you, sir. One more person. Well,
So we need
going
to-
once? Yes, sir.
Not trying to volunteer anyone, but you could show an interest in this. Make sure, remind you.
For you to, please.
That's before I got bushwhacked today. Thank you, sir. Yes, put me down there because I'm without a job, so I'll probably have some time to do some. Okay.
You need them on that.
I need to, a motion to nominate to the CARES partners, the correction partnership, Mr. Carver, Mr. Bennett, Mr. Hill, Mr. Stinnett.
Mr.
Yes.
What did I say?
Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Hill, Commissioner. I apologize. Commissioner Carver, Commissioner Bennett, Commissioner Hill, and Commissioner Stinnett. Okay, Ms. Lawhorn made the motion, Mr. Hood seconded. Any discussion? Please vote yes to put those people on that committee and vote no not to. Thank you, sorry.
No, you're okay, we'll just pass it back and forth. Mr. Chairman, there are 19 yes votes and 2 members have abstained.
Yeah, I should have, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, item number 6, human resource. Did I miss one?
Education.
Oh, education, excuse me, guys, back up. Education Commission, 5 vacancies. Mr. Hammondtree, volunteers. Mr. Michaels, Mr. McCauley, that's 3. Mr. Bowers. Need one more.
These are
Mr.
vacancies if we were on it. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. Let me ask that question. Oh, we need to know the question. Mayor, for instance, with some of the people who own that committee,
They're still on.
are we still on it? And these are additional people? Is that right? These are additional, so we're,
This is your all's committee that you, I'm assuming with the new commission, that the slate is probably a lot cleaner and you all will need to read. Am I right?
okay.
No. 5 former commissioners were on the education committee, and we've got 5 vacancies that we have to fill in addition to the ones who are serving now.
Okay, so
y'all
clarify
are still
this.
on there.
If you're on that commission, on that committee, you're still on that committee. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 of us.
I volunteered to be on the committee.
Okay? We'd love to have you. Commissioner
Need
Reagan?
one more.
We need one more. One
How
more?
about Stacy? Yes.
Yes, we got,
All right, you got
and
it.
Commissioner Lawhorn.
All right, if you can read my
Okay,
scratching.
yes.
There it is.
So, for the Education Committee, Commissioner Hammondtree, Commissioner Michaels, McCauley, Reagan, Lawhorn.
Need somebody to make a motion.
I've got, Mr. French made a motion, need a second. Mr. Anderson, is there any discussion? Please vote yes to put these people on the Education Committee, and vote no not to. Yes, sir. Hold on. Name's not up. Back. Had we already voted? No, we hadn't voted.
I stopped
Back,
it.
yeah. Push your button or go ahead and speak. You're good. You're speaking.
So, yourself and myself and Commissioner Crowe, Commissioner French, folks who were on the Education Committee
We're still on one.
yesterday,
No,
last month,
French is not.
We're still on it.
we're still on it.
Yes, sir.
except for myself.
Except for yourself.
Right.
Okay.
We're there. Please vote yes to put these people on the Education Committee, and vote no not to.
Commissioner French? That's okay. Commissioner Hill? Tap it again. Let's see what- Okay, got it that time. Mr. Chairman, you have 16 yes votes and 5 have abstained.
Item number 6, Human Resources. Now, to clarify going forward, these are in addition to the ones who are on there now. So if you're on the Human Resource Committee now, you're still on there. We're going to add 2 who have came off. So we've got Mr. Hammondtree is volunteering.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to speak to that, please.
Yes, sir. Hold on. Okay, you're speaking. Your mic's
This may
on.
not be the best place to do it, but since we're in the process of putting people on it, I serve on both the Human Resources Committee and the Insurance Committee. I would like to resign my seat on both of those committees. So now we've got 3 vacancies.
Okay.
I've enjoyed doing that, but I'm trying to consolidate some time. And
So item 6 and item 8, we're going from 2 to 3 we need.
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So we've got Mr. Hammondtree, got Mr. Anderson, and Commissioner Dodd. What did I say? Sorry. I'll get better. Give me time. Okay, here's Commissioner Hammondtree, Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner Crowe. We're going to vote yes to put them on, well, we're going to get a motion for those people to put them on the Human Resource. I got Mr. Aker.
Is this correct? I'm getting a motion from the mayor over here. I want to know, are we correct in what we're doing with adding the people and everybody that was already on it still on it, or this is the total number of people we're supposed to be putting on it?
I don't think so. And I'd like to ask the attorney.
Come on up.
I think unless you all, when you put yourself on the committee at the beginning of your term, unless you specify when you were elected it was for the term, then you would stay on the committee. Without having to be reappointed, is the way I think it is. But I don't, without going back and looking at it, I assume that when you put the people on there, you don't say we're appointing them for their 4-year term, because if they get reelected, but the committee's ongoing. So I would assume that you wouldn't have to reappoint the people that are on there, but I'll be glad to check that for you between now and next week to make sure of that.
Well, our problem is these numbers can't be right if
I don't know about that.
I'm sorry?
I don't know about your numbers, but I'm
Right.
just saying, I don't know where these vacancy numbers came
Exactly.
from, but I just assumed that you all probably did it at the beginning of your term, the last term, by just nominating people to the committee. You probably didn't say, we're nominating the people to the committee or voting them onto the committee for a specific period of time or for their term, so.
Well, but what we've, for instance,
Are your numbers not adding up?
the numbers are not adding up. I know we have,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner.
these numbers are the vacancies that we have
Exactly.
on these committees, the people that have
Left the commission.
served previously, unless they ask to be taken off of those committees, like Commissioner Taylor, are still serving on those committees. That's my understanding. But
That's what I would think.
but I would ask, Mr. Chairman, that we might have Mr. Garrett look into that to make sure, because I believe we nominated the full committees at the beginning of the terms. And I believe we do that every year, I believe, don't we?
I wouldn't hear. I'll check in for you
Check
though,
into
let
it.
you know. All right.
That would put 9, based on what we did here today, that would put 9 commissioners on the education committee.
That's correct. We had 9 commissioners on the previous committee.
I don't know what you extolled.
That is correct.
There's not,
I'm not trying to be argumentative on this. This is not the way we did it 4 years ago.
I'll look it up.
Guys, Mr. Garrett will check on, but we're going forward as if we're replacing
Sounds good.
vacancies, period.
Sounds good.
So, thank you, sir. So I've got a motion and a second for Mr. Hammondtree, Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner Crowe, for the Human Resource Committee. I need a motion. I got Reagan, I got Mr. French. Is there any discussion? Vote yes to nominate Commissioner Hammondtree, Anderson, and Crowe to the Human Resource Committee. Informational Technology, 2 vacancies. Anyone? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was waiting for
I'm
somebody to
sorry.
vote. It's okay. You have 18 yes votes, and 3 have abstained. Did you get that?
I got that, sorry. I got messed you up. Informational Technology, we have 2 vacancies. Anyone interested in the technology community? Mr. Hood, Commissioner Hood? Someone else, we're gonna nominate someone.
Joplin.
Commissioner Johnson. Okay. I need a motion for Mr. Johnson and Mr. Hood to go on to the informational technology. I got a motion by Commissioner Reagan and Commissioner Lawhorn's a second. Is there any discussion? Please vote yes.
I have a question.
Whoa, yes, ma'am.
I thought we were nominating 3 because one of the
This
others.
No, it's
But
That's the next item, Commissioner.
Oh, I can't see as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So, vote yes to move these 2 commissioners to the Information Technology Committee. Vote no not to.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 yes votes, and 2 members have abstained.
Item number 8. Now, let me give you some little insight on that one, guys. Normally what happens is whoever's on the human resources on the insurance, because they know what's happening. If you don't, and you don't have to do this, but I think everyone who's on those two committees. And the reason is because you don't have to, you know what's happening. You don't have to go back and do your homework as much. Plus the fact the insurance committee only meets about once or twice a year. So I'm looking for 3 vacancies. And the people I had, Mr. Hammondtree, Mr. Anderson, Commissioner Crowe. Anyone else interested in that committee or any other nominations for that committee? I need a
Full commission, Mr. Chairman, for approval.
Commissioner French and Commissioner Bright second it. Please, is there any discussion about that? Okay, vote yes to move Commissioner Hammondtree, Commissioner Anderson, and Crowe to the Insurance Committee. Vote no not to.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 yes votes and 3 have abstained.
Item number 9, Park and Recreation. Okay, Commissioner Webb and Commissioner Bowers. Are you interested? Okay.
One vacancy.
I know we got 1 vacancy, so now, I can tell you one thing, they meet 1 time a month and they serve lunch.
That's why I'm on there.
Okay. We can call roll.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Hammondtree.
next meeting is Friday at noon.
Oh. Let's do this.
Ron's getting ready to make a motion, I guess.
Okay. Commissioner Bowers, I need a motion to move him to the, so got Commissioner Bright and Commissioner Longhorn. Is there any discussion? Vote yes to put Commissioner Bowers on the Parks and Recreation. Vote no not to. In that sense, Commissioner Webb would get it.
Mr. Chairman, you have 20 yes votes and 1 has abstained.
Smoky Mountain Tourism Development Authority. Mr. Bright has volunteered for that.
Nominate Mr. Joplin.
Who did? Okay, so we've got Joplin, we've got 1 vacancy. Okay. Mr. Joplin, do you take that job? Okay, I'm looking for a motion and a second.
Second.
Mr. Aker and Mr. Anderson. Okay, the motion by Commissioner Aker and second by Commissioner Anderson to put Mr. Joplin on the Tourism Development Authority. Please vote yes to put him on that committee, and vote no not to.
Mr. Chairman, you have 20 yes votes and 1 has abstained.
Item number 11, Veterans Affairs Committee.
I nominate Brian Robinson.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay, we've got 1 vacancy. Yeah. We got a motion by Mr. Carver and a second by Commissioner Reagan. Any discussion? Vote yes to put Commissioner Robbins on the Veterans Affairs Committee. Vote no not to.
Mr. Chairman, you have 20 yes votes and 1 abstain.
Okay, good. Item number 5, Resolution 18.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
before you move to item 5, I'd like to suggest to save us some time at the next week's meeting. I'd like to move, if it's in order, that I understand Mr. Garrett is going to do the research on this, but I'd like to move, if it's in order, that the members that served on the committees last term, if they wish to, those members remain on those committees for the next term. Otherwise, we're going to be going through this again next week and nominating those members that are still on those committees. I would like to ask if I could make that motion and move that those members remain on the committee.
I've got a motion and got a second by, was that Commissioner Aker? If someone is on a committee right now, that they will stay on that committee. And we're going to vote those, if we've made a mistake tonight, we're going to fix it by voting on it now.
With the exception of the ones that have
Right.
asked the most of them.
Yes, sir. Does everyone understand the question? Yes, sir, Mayor.
Mr. Chair, I would ask, in that same order, their names show up as with the new ones that y'all are asking, that whenever you all vote on that all the names show up as being those names that you're voting on, that they not be kept separate off of it, but be a part of the group for each one of these committees, that their names show up, even if they are serving now and they want to continue to serve, but they still show up as being voted on by this commission here for that committee.
Yes, sir. I agree. Does everyone understand the question? No discussion. I got a motion by Mr. French, second by Commissioner Aker to if we have made a mistake, we're going to, people that own committees existing now will continue on those committees. Returning committee members stay on the committee they are serving on. Ready for the vote? Vote yes to return all committee members back to their committees. Vote no not to.
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 yes votes.
Thank you. Okay, Resolution 18-09012. Resolution of the Blount County legislative body to revise the Blount County ordinance defining for indoor and outdoor shooting, sports shooting ranges.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Robbins, you got a second? Mr. French, Commissioner French? Discussion. Commissioner Michaels.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of my best qualities is nobody knows where I stand on something until there's a vote. And I'm going to get caught like this on the vote about every time now, I guess. But I like to play devil's advocate in most things I make decisions on. And let me say this, I am pro Second Amendment, and I know that we're not voting on this tonight, but I want to throw some stuff out there to the other commissioners to where they can do some investigation between now and next week. Being being a state licensed and certified NRA instructor, firearms instructor, we have to be mindful of several things on both sides of the fence right here. And I appreciate everybody that's come out and talked about this, and I recognize the passion in each of your pleas. In Blount County, we have a very unique topography. There are places in our county that may be 3 acres, that may be in a hollow, and that hollow may make, you know, a perfect spot. It's already it's a natural burn. So, you know, to make the criteria to have 70 acres, I think that may be a little bit over the top. However, we can't just throw this out there just for anybody to take. So we need to do our due diligence and trying to figure out what we need to do and what we don't need to do. There are liabilities, mostly private, but they can name anybody in a lawsuit. I know Mr. Baisley personally, and I have asked him if he is a lawyer, he knows the law on this issue, and I'm sure that he has the integrity to be non-biased in any, you know, if you had any questions. And I have spoken with him, and he did say that he would be more than happy to speak with any of the commissioners who have any questions. Another something that we need to think about is, you know, with that unique topography, we do have streams. The state of Tennessee and some of these guidelines that are set forth for gun ranges, probably the most liable issue there is to them is lead. And we do have streams. Part of those criteria for these gun ranges is to have a lead mitigation plan. So once a firing range is deemed unneeded or not, you know, not necessary for that function any longer, the state of Tennessee, the federal government, the EPA makes you excavate that property where that burn was to remove the lead, and they make you bring in dirt that they declare necessary to put back there. So that is one issue that I can see that could be, you know, I don't know, you know, I'm not a rocket scientist and I'm not a lead expert, but you know, we do need to be mindful of that with the streams that we have, and you know, what people could construe as their right if we change this. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no lights. I'm going to, guys, if I need to step away from the chair, I will do that, but I'm going to ask your permission here for a second, because I've been working on this for a year and a half, 2 years. And I understand that we've got all kinds of problems with this. My person back here that lives in my district, I understand where he's coming from. In his neighborhood, no one should be shooting a gun, but that's not the law in the state of Tennessee. The law in the state of Tennessee is if you live in Blount County, is if you're in my neighborhood, we shouldn't be shooting guns, but people shoot guns in my neighborhood. So, yes, we need to work on those things, Commissioner Michael. But what this resolution is about is about trying to allow people who are going to be shooting anyway the opportunity to make it safer for their neighbors. So if this passes and we move this on to the commission, please take time to make sure that you talk to, or just find out what's happening here. Because this is about safety, giving people the opportunity to shoot safer, and they've got permission, it's legal for them to shoot with a berm or without the berm. So this is all about safety, hopefully heading towards your direction, towards Ken's direction. Okay, because we do need to work on this. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you for bearing with me on that. I'm sort of out of order. Yes, sir.
Yeah, one more thing, Mr. Chairman. I'm not for or against, okay? But I think that between now and next week, the majority of these people in here need to analyze all the possibilities. And, you know, I'm for firearms and I'm for the safety and, you know, set aside liability, whatever it may be. Accidents happen, and if we leave it in the hands of somebody that, you know, construe it the way they think, you know, so we just have to be careful.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Frank.
Just one comment. I don't know if most of you commissioners have had time to read your email, but there was a letter in emails today from our our county attorney that explained his views on that. I suggest that if you haven't read that email, you go back and read that email and read Mr. Garrett's letter.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else? The chair. Okay, we've got it. We're going to vote yes to move Resolution 18-09-0112 to the full commission and vote no not to.
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 yes votes.
Thank you. Item 6, Resolution 18-09-015, resolution of the Blount County Legislative Body to establish an agreement that extends beyond the end of the current fiscal year with the engineer of Cold Springs Bridge replacement. I need a motion and a second. Mr. Hammondtree, and the second was Mr. Bowers. Thank you, sir. Is there any discussion? Please vote yes to move Resolution 18-09-015 to the commission next week, or vote no not to.
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 yes votes.
Announcements and statements. Mr. Vineyard.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
the Budget Committee approved forwarding Resolution 18-08-005 to this body, and it was inadvertently left off the revised agenda. I would suggest it be considered, please.
Okay.
18-08-005.
And which one was that, sir? Can you give us the background on it?
It is the revision to the Highway Capital Fund for the $750,000 federal money. Correction of the fund number.
Okay. I'm going back to my... We got a motion. And you got a second, Mr. Michaels? Okay, Mr. Robbins. Any question or discussion about 1808-005?
I'm sorry to ask again, who made the motion?
Robbins.
Vern, and who was the second one?
So we're done there on the consent? Okay.
Okay. Okay, y'all move faster than I
They
did
put
on
it on
that.
consent.
Okay. You ready to vote?
Any discussion? Vote yes to move resolution 1808-005 to the commission next week. Vote no not to.
Mr. Chairman, you have
Oh, it is on
21
there.
yes votes.
We okay?
Yes, sir. I made a mistake. It was actually in the consent agenda. I failed to see it.
My apologies.
So we voted on it twice.
Yeah,
We're good.
And it's going to the commission.
thank you.
Announcements. The director of schools will be having a presentation at Blount County, for the Blount County Schools and the Board of Education at a special called meeting on Thursday, September the 20th at 5:30 in room 433 of the Blount County Courthouse. Sandwiches will be provided at 4:45. We ought to say we all meet that one. The regular commission meeting next Thursday, September the 20th at 7 o'clock in Blount County Courthouse, room 430. Pictures. Guys, we need to dress up, and put our ties and a little jacket on if we've got one. Anyone else that got an announcement? Yes, sir, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's not an announcement, a statement, and maybe a suggestion. It might make things a little easier for the commission. If you wish to make a motion, or if you wish to second it, I'm going to suggest, and this is what we've done in the past, if you're going to make the motion, then please, I move and hit your button at the same time. Same way with the second. Don't just hit the button. If you want to second that motion, second and hit your second button at the same time. It's going to make it a lot easier because I've noticed in the meeting tonight that someone will second it, but someone's already pushed the second motion, and it's going to make it a lot easier for the clerk to keep up with recording that. So I'm going to make that suggestion that we do that from now on. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. Public input.
Hey, wait a minute.
Whoa. Oh, you got something. Excuse me.
I've attended several Parks and Recreation Commission meetings, and yes, the commission members and the staff get food, but it is not free. Somebody pays for it. So who pays for it?
You need to ask Mr. Huff. He's okay. Report back to us.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Most definitely will. That's a meeting Friday.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hammond-Tree. Input of items not on the agenda. Please come forward, tell us your name, your district. Thank you there.
Police and Commission, sorry, I'm gonna let you guys follow up on Steve, Mr. Michael's contact information. If you want to write it down, the cards are here, happy to do whatever you all request. So I'll be here. How about that? If you want to use my card.
There we go. Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Item not on the agenda.
Now, district, I offer you the same thing. I have some information I brought you tonight. If you ask for some information, I'll be here after the meeting. I'll be happy to distribute it properly.
Does anyone else have anything? Guys?
What other items?
Yes, sir, Chairman.
I would like to ask that the commissioners give me your contact number, please, in case of, an emergency or in case we need to I need to get in touch with you as chairman.
We need numbers that we can get a hold of you, by the way.
Has everyone gotten their email account set up? Their Blount TN? Okay. Okay. All right.
Anyone else? Hey, I'm like Commissioner. Go home, guys. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.